Hey everybody, we are going to be working on the printable of the week, and the printable of the week this week is Garden Glam is what it's called, and it's a mini album printable. So there's a lot of add-ons to this kit. It's super cute, and I think it's perfect and just in time for spring. So these are the covers. Let me see if I can get a good shot here for you. So you get the two covers, and it's this really fun chevron with some patterns that I designed on the inside. And then these are the pages, and these are the pages that you fold in half like I usually do. So this one's got a really fun ornate pattern on it in a light pink. And there's this one. I'm trying to hold it up close for you guys this time. And then a gray one in an ornate pattern. And this one's got really distressed edges. I love the look of old paper, so I tend to do that a lot. And this one's really fun with polka dots. And then a really pretty teal damask. I don't know why, but this paper just looks iridescent to me, but it's not, I promise. And then some more wood grain, a little bit of that damask. There's a plainer one. A little bit of ledger. This is a good one for Easter because it says yearly egg count on that side. Floral pattern. My favorite floral pattern. Alright, so those are the pages. You get 12 pages in the covers in a kit. And I print these on some really thick manila cardstock, similar to what you would use for like card making and stuff like that. And actually, one of these, and there's also a backing, but I ran out of ink, so you can kind of see it's supposed to be this color. So it kind of ran out of the yellow right about there. But this is the back liner that also comes with the kit, so you could print this on the back and make journal pages out of your pages if you wanted to. So that's in the kit as well. All right, and I'm not printing that on the back of mine, because even though I refilled my ink, because I think I'm going to do something else on my backs, and I'm not going to use my backs for a journal, so I'm not doing it on my backs. All right, and then these are the add-ons. This is the Elements 2 pack. You can kind of see. Comes with tabs, a little label, and some cards. This one is, I think, the Elements 1 pack. Comes with some fun stuff that you can cut out, a little flower sticker, some library cards, and some neutral tones, and some distressed paper. Here's the library card pack. Comes with 2 little library cards and a funky little old label card type thing. And here's a fun little postcard with a cute little envelope with a scalloped edge. So that'll be fun. And then you get some tickets. This is the tickets add-on. So these you can cut out individually, or you can cut out 2 and fold it in half to have a double-sided ticket. So kind of cool, and then you could tear off half of it if you want to. And then we've got the really cute envelope tags as well. So these are all the different add-ons that you can get in addition to the journal kit. So I'm going to go ahead and cut everything out. I'm going to cut all my pages out, and how I'm going to cut these is just like I've told you before, where you cut the whole thing out and then you score down the middle and you fold in half, and there should be a gap in the middle so that you can see where you're going to score. So that's definitely part of the fold that you're going to want to ink up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I've got all of my elements cut out and my covers, and I've gone ahead and I've added chipboard to my covers. So you only want to do the front side of your covers for this binding technique, because we are going to attach our book by gluing the inside pages onto the cover. So make sure that you fold all your pages in half, but make sure that the pages that are going to be on the front and the back are folded pattern side in, because when we stitch this together, this inside piece is going to get glued to your cover like this. So you don't want to, waste your pattern. So you want to do that with your front piece and your back piece. And I've already kind of put mine in order. I'm just going to switch it up a little bit here. So this is the order that I'm going to stitch in, and we are going to do a binding technique that is in my brand new book that's coming out late this month, early next month. So we're going to add these rhinestones into our Coptic stitch, which is just really cool. They're really large rhinestones. They're about 1/4 of an inch big, and they're in this really pretty minty color. And we are going to do a row of 5 for the thickness of this book. Okay, so how, you guys already know, have already seen me do the Coptic stitch before, so I'm not going to reteach it. I'm just going to whiz through it. If you want to learn how to do it, it's in one of my latest videos. So I'm going in through the top hole, and I'll kind of teach you a little bit how to do it right now, but I'm really not going to be focusing on teaching it so much because I'm trying to get this book done. So the next thing I'm going to do is add my second signature, and I'm going to go through the top hole of my second signature. And I'm just doing a 2-row Coptic. I usually will do more than 2, but for time's sake, I'll go slow on this one and just do something small, something simple. Alright, so I'm going to pull all the way through, and then once I've got this little loop, you can kind of see the loop, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my chain of bling, and I'm going to pull tight, oops, I'm going to pull tight in between one of those rhinestones. So it's kind of hard to do with just one hand. Okay, so see how I've done that? Okay, so now I'm going out through the bottom hole here, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the second row of rhinestones. Make sure I'm not getting tangled, which I am a little bit on the inside there. Alright, so same thing. And you want to make sure they're going the same way. So you just want to go over the first link. Where's my little hole? There it is. So, pull all the way through. I've got a knot, darn it. Okay. Let me fix my knot here really quick. Darn thing. I'm usually really good about not getting knots, but when I'm working fast, sometimes I'll get them, especially if I pull the thread too quickly. I've got a good size knot in here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and unknot this real quick. Okay, now we're cooking. So I've got my thread through, and then I'm just going to tie this off on the inside nice and tight because we don't want those rhinestones to pop out. So we're going to tie this off. I'm going back down this out this bottom hole, so I'm tying my knot near the bottom hole so that I don't have to adjust the thread. Alright, so do a double knot there. And I'll cut off this, and then I'll add a dab of glue on there later. I'm going to go ahead and move some of this stuff out of the way here. Alright, so now I'm going to go right back out that bottom hole. Okay. And then we can close this up. Just making sure I'm not going to get a knot this time. So see, I'm just kind of straightening out my string. And I got it. Careful, because these little prongs on the rhinestone chain get caught on your thread really easily. What is with me today? I keep getting these darn knots. Come on. There we go. Alright. So, now we're going to add our third page. So just make sure that you've got the one rhinestone piece going on your going over your first signature, just like this. So we're going to add our second page, which is going to be this page here. Sliding it underneath the rhinestones. And then we're going to go in. And you're kind of just going to use your own discretion as far as where your thread's going to go between these rhinestones, because you are going to share some of that space between stitches. So kind of just keep an eye on it. A little knot trying to form there. It's a little tricky, but you kind of just have to, you know, space it the way it looks good. So right now I'm having my thread loop go in between the first two gems again, just like I did the first time. And then on the next run, I'll go in between the second one. So I'm going out the top, make sure my rhinestones are over. Okay, and then once again I'm going in between the same rhinestones I did the first time, but I'm going into the second, or actually, sorry, almost messed up there. So, okay, so when you get to that top part, this time you're not going to go in between rhinestones, you're just going to catch the stitch like you would on a Coptic stitch. When you're doing a regular Coptic stitch without the rhinestones. So I'm just catching the stitch. So I'm going in between the first and second signature, and I'm looping underneath that stitch. There we go, some thread difficulties again. This is a lot harder with the rhinestones there because, like I said, the metal keeps catching that thread, but you'll get the hang of it once you try it out, so just leave some room for error. Alright, so I'm adding my fourth page, and this time around I'm going to be going in between that next rhinestone. So now I'm going to loop over the second rhinestone, between the second and third rhinestone. Okay, that's how I'm going to keep those guys in place. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold this up so that it doesn't get tangled up or get hooked on my rhinestone. Oops, sorry, didn't realize I was off camera there. Hopefully I haven't been off camera too long. Alright, so see how I've kind of looped over in between the second and third rhinestone? And then I'm going to come out the bottom and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to make sure that this is over here. And I'm going to go in between the second and third rhinestone, and actually I don't need to go in between there because I forgot we're just catching the stitch on this run. So we're catching the stitch like a regular Coptic. You don't have to go in between any rhinestones this time. I guess we kind of do. Just basically pretend like the star and rhinestone thing isn't even there. You're just stitching it on, so it doesn't really, as long as it looks good, it doesn't really matter too much what you're doing, I suppose. Just be careful because, as you can see, it gets tangled up really easily. Alright. So I've caught that stitch, and now I'm going to go pull tight. Now I'm going to go in between the second and third rhinestone and go into my next signature. So I'm going to add my next signature here. Just like this. Oops, string got caught. And then I'm going to make my loop go in between the second and third rhinestone. So I'm just going to pull tight, and then when I have a loop, I'll position it where I want it to go on that rhinestone piece. Alright, so now I've got a small loop, so I'm kind of going to just guide it where I want it to go over the rhinestone. Oops, kind of making a mess here. Sorry, I keep going off camera, guys. So this is actually pretty difficult to do, but just because it keeps getting tangled, but I'm going to show you up close what I'm talking about here. So see how I'm threading in between the rhinestones? That's what you want to happen, and it's just kind of holding the rhinestones in place. So I'm going out the top now on my second one. I'm going to show you up close how I'm catching that stitch. Just make sure I'm not getting tangled on the inside there. Okay, so now I'm going to go right under here to catch that stitch. Okay. Alright, so now I'm ready to add my next page. So I'm going to do this one here. Oh wait, that's my back page actually. We'll do this one. Alright, so I've got it on there. And I'm going to go through this, I'm going to loop on the same stitch. So I'm going to go in this top hole on my next signature here. So this top hole there. And another easy way to do this is if you don't want to do it while you're stitching, you can always just stitch the whole book together and then stitch the rhinestones on afterwards, which would probably be easier, but you guys know me. I like to hit two birds with one stone sometimes, and it's not always the efficient way to do things. But anyway. So I'm going to keep pulling. I just caught that stitch on the bottom row. And then now I'm ready to add my next page. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. You kind of get the idea. And then I'll be back to show you the finished part, the finished insides. And then I'll show you how to glue them to your cover. Alright, so now I've got all my gems in place. You can kind of see them on the binding here. And then now I'm going to glue my covers on. So what you want to do is take some Fabri-Tac or whatever glue you like to use. Anything works for this, really. Of course, I have to wait for the glue to seep down to the bottom. This stuff is so slow. Sorry, guys. I don't want to start and stop a whole bunch of times, so I'll try to get it to work its way down there a little faster. Alright, there we go. That wasn't so bad. So I always like to make sure that my edges are glued really well. Make sure I've got a nice bead of glue along my edges. I go through a lot of glue. Does anyone else use like excess amounts of glue when they're working? I don't know. I just figure if I use a lot, then I know I'm good. So these are going to be glued to the cover, or glued down as the cover. And then you're going to take this inside piece and kind of slide it around until it fits pretty good on there. So you want to make sure that none of that chipboard is showing. I've got a little bit of glue seeping out there. Alright, and then I'm going to smash it down. And then we're going to glue these rhinestone pieces that are hanging over the top onto the front of the cover. But we're not going to do that just yet because I'm going to add one more little touch before I get there. And then I'm going to glue my back piece on next. This, get all that goo on there. I don't want my project to fall apart, so I use a lot. All right, and then this is going to get slid down like this. And I always do, for the chevron, I do the point of the chevron down, pointing down. You could do it up if you want to, but I just like how it looks when it's pointing down for some reason. All right, so that's what it looks like with the covers on there, and I will ink the edges of my covers here too in a little bit. Now I'm going to add a little bit of an accent. I've got to run and grab something and I'll be right back. All right, so I grabbed a few of our metal doilies from our Junk and Gems line. I've got 4 of them here. And I'm going to cut these in half. Or actually, I only need 2. So I'm going to cut these in half. And these are great because they're so nice and thin that you can cut them with just about any pair of scissors. So I'm going to kind of make a fun vintage looking hinge on this piece. And I'm going to use a different, well, I was going to use a different kind of glue, but I suppose I'll just have to use Fabri-Tac because I don't know where my other glue is. So I'm kind of just bending this back into place. I'm going to put some glue on it. Oh, why didn't I keep this laying down? Come on. Sorry, guys. I'm such a mess. All right. It's almost there. And then I'm going to put some glue on the back of this. And I'm going to center it, center the little middle dot where my gem is. I'm going to glue this down, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Make sure the little doily is nice and flat here. And set down right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of push your book down to kind of squeeze it, and then you're going to glue that gem onto the top. So it should fold over the top pretty well, just like this. And you may need to weigh this down with something or clip it to hold it in place. That's the only thing that's really going to take a while. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the front and the back, and then I'll show you it when it's all together. Or all put together, sorry. Okay, so I've clipped my book together just to kind of keep it scrunched up, and I've gone ahead and I've done the back ones too. And I'm going to, since the back ones I've just done, I'm going to go ahead and set those face down so the rhinestones stay flat, because I think these ones are just about dry. Or these are just about dry. Almost. So this is what that binding is going to end up looking like once it's dry, and it'll straighten out once I take this clip off. But I want to make sure it dries before I start messing with it a whole lot. So pretty cool. So I'm going to let that dry and then we'll dress it up a little bit. Alright guys, really quick on the cover I want to do, I'm going to use this little oval title, but I made it because I wanted it to fit into our oval bezels and gems in our Junk and Gems line. So this is the large oval and glass dome, glass gem. So what you do is you pop that glass piece out, and you're going to need some Scotch quick dry glue, and mine are kind of clogged right now. Let me try to unclog them really quick. There's one. So I like to use this glue because it dries really clear. And I'm going to grab some scratch paper here, and what you do is you're going to put a nice little daub onto the back of the glass piece, and make sure you don't use too much. You don't want so much that it's going to seep out. But if it does seep out, it's totally fine. You don't have to worry about it because it dries totally glassy clear. And if I could just get some out. There we go. So I'm doing kind of a little bit of a line here, and I'm guesstimating that this is going to be enough. Can you kind of see how much is on there? And then you're going to take your oval piece. And this oval piece is a little too big, but I'm going to make it work somehow. So you stick it over the top, and then you smash down, and you kind of... you're going to press really hard until the glue is evenly spread out on your piece. And you can still kind of see through it. It's going to look a little milky. But then I just slide it around right to where I want it, and then you're going to let it dry. So don't touch it. Just let it dry, and hopefully this won't mess up too much. I used the inkjet printer when I printed this time, so I'm not sure if the ink is going to smear or not, but we'll see. But this is what it looks like. It looks milky. When it's dry, it'll turn clear. So once that's dry, I'll cut out this excess paper, and then I'll stick it and glue it down into my metal bezel. Alrighty, so I finished decorating the cover of my book a little bit. Let's see if you can kind of see. Get a good view. So I used a variety of pinks, peaches, and teals, and blues to kind of match the paper line. You could see that my little bezel came out pretty cute. Really like that. And this is one of our mixed resins that just came out, CHA Winter, sorry. And these are part of the Junk and Gems line, and some metal flowers and the metal doilies I showed you earlier. And then I just glued this together, so this might fall apart, and I just tied a little bow in the corner there for the little bezels to kind of cover up the bail that's on there. And then on the inside, I didn't do a whole lot as usual because I don't have a lot of time. So I just kind of clipped in all the little tags and tickets. See, I already had something fall out because I just glued it down. But I just kind of clipped in all the little cards and tickets and things. And when I do end up putting pictures in here, then I'll decorate it some more and make it pretty. If I ever get around to it. I'm notorious for never finishing the insides of my books. I know it's bad, but anyway, this is the Garden Glam mini album kit. Let me fix my little gem that just popped out. I just glued it on there, so it's not quite tacked on yet. So this is the Garden Glam mini album kit. It could be used as a journal, art journal, anything you want. Really hope you guys like it. I hope you like the binding technique. I'll show you that one more time. Really pretty, just to add a little bit of sparkle and interest to a project. And it's a lot of fun, really easy to do. So I hope you guys like it, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time for our weekly printable next week, and I'll try my best to do it earlier in the week. The link to this kit is right down there. There's plenty of add-ons, so you can add whatever you like. But of course, you don't have to buy the printables to make a book like this. You could just use what you have and do the same kind of binding technique. So that's it. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.